Well, hey, good morning, Staci.
Good morning, Shane. You suffer. It's so funny.
It's the morning adjustment.
Take two.
Dr. Shane and Staci Hand.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today, babe?
I'm very well. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. We had a great week and a lot of cool things to talk about this week. We have a great show for you today. We're going to talk about some parenting a little bit and some current events, and I know you have sourdough starters
stuff
that are cooking. And where do you want to start, babe? What do you want to talk about first?
Current events. So I will tell you that we got to wake up. We just have to wake up to things.
That's true. We got to wake up.
And not just sit there and watch mainstream media, which is all of them.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're right, left, upside down, in the middle. It doesn't even matter. The issue is they're two sides of the same evil coin.
Ooh, it's good versus evil, Staci.
Yes, but
really
they're the same
good.
Evil coin too, Shane.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you're right.
Not everything on one side is correct, and not everything on the other side is correct.
You just got to wonder if they're not just telling a story to advance
a lot their kingdom
one way or another,
yes,
right?
It's a lot. So search out, look up things. I post a lot on my Instagram stories.
Yes, you do.
It's a little messy. Okay,
it's not dramatic either, Staci.
Last week he called me a bit dramatic, and you guys loved it. But
no,
he did.
I was just saying that was dramatic.
That story was dramatic. It was funny, but. We got to wake up. So when I post stuff on my stories, if it's something you're interested in, go follow those people. Click on it. Go look at it. Go follow those people. So then their stuff falls into your feed. Your algorithm will change. You will have more things like that come in there. But if you want to look up different things, go type that into the search bar on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook.
How would somebody follow you, Staci, on Instagram?
You just go to Instagram and find me. I'm like at Mama Hand.
At Mama Hand.
At Mama Hand. At symbol Mama Hand.
At Mama Hand. That's right.
And so, but we got to wake up, educate yourself, get deep, get messy. Go to where it even gets messy. Like you feel like it got so messy, it swung to the other side, and you went.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but now I kind of know about that. So research.
We did that back in 2020 when everything was kind of shut down.
Yes,
we started
they gave
watching,
us time to stay home and look at things.
A video series called Fall Cabal. Ooh.
That was crazy.
Part 1 and Part 2.
Into the Darkness. What was that? Was it Into the Darkness?
We'll have to figure that out and post it for next time, for sure.
Deep diving on some things you can look at you didn't know. Meal prep discussion this week.
Okay, what happened, Staci?
I've been gone for 2 days. I've been out of town. Mm-hmm. So I don't even know what I'm doing for food. But I'll figure it out in the next few hours.
The soups are always good.
I know.
Lord help, the soups.
Lord help. Those soups are amazing. So he's probably wanting some of them again this week. So probably nothing new on that front. But we've been seeing stuff on TikTok and on Instagram. It's pretty funny. We are an ingredients household.
Yeah.
I grew up kind of in an ingredients household.
What does that mean, Staci? An ingredient household?
You can come over and visit. He has a little 2-gallon. We each have our own 2-gallon jars.
Yeah.
On the counter. I have a 2-gallon jar full of flour. Mm-hmm. You have a 2-gallon jar full of
snacks.
He does, and they're all healthy. We make sure there's no seed oils.
There's no seed oils.
No crazy anything. It's all like there's sugar, but there's it's like little fruit strips, and all the only ingredient is the fruit. And water. That's
we get a lot of that stuff from Costco, which you came from Costco. She brought me some treats from Costco. I brought him
some more. He and Bear, you got to bring the boys treats when you come back from Costco. Treats. Yeah. So yes, I was gone all weekend, so I didn't get to do much with that. But we're an ingredient household, so to us that means if you went to my pantry right now,
we're mindful.
You're starving. You run to my pantry to get anything. You're like, wow.
I'm gonna eat some flour.
Yeah, there's flour, salt. There's all the ingredients are in there, but we're gonna make some things. You might find a can of green beans.
Yeah,
there's some cans of our hot sauce.
It's so good though, Staci.
But you're not gonna find a boxed mix of things you could just whip up real fast. So do not be afraid of ingredients. A lot of people are like, well, I saw your soup thing, but there were this many ingredients on there. Well, a lot of them are seasonings.
Yeah.
And And so you get them out and it's like half teaspoon of this, quarter teaspoon, whatever. Once you buy those ingredients once, you have them.
Yeah.
They're easy to use, but they make stuff taste so much better. So don't be afraid.
It's restaurant
not even
quality.
scary.
It's
It is.
like you literally, those soups that she posted, you could sell those at a restaurant in 2 seconds. And
OpenArestaurant.com.
It would be cool.
I triple dog dare you.
Yeah.
So yes.
That's really good.
Yes,
Can't wait.
we're doing our sourdough starters and guides.
Yes.
Dr. Hayden, our daughter, and I.
Yes.
We sold quite a few this week. It's so fun. People are starting their sourdough journey. The big deal to me is sourdough is an easy way to start making food for your family.
What I love about sourdough is there's 4 ingredients.
Yes.
Flour, water, salt, and the starter. And
That's impressive.
And
it hurts his wrist when he gets tired of stirring it.
That's dramatic right
there.
there.
That is dramatic. I'm going to film you next time.
Like in 7 days, that sourdough loaf, if you don't eat it all, it's hard as a brick.
It's hard.
And that's
it
the way
doesn't get moldy. It
no,
gets hard.
it's hard. That's the way it's supposed to be. And you can actually put it in water and heat it up and
Rinse
soften it.
But
real food will decay quickly if it's real.
Real food dies.
Like you could put a McDonald's hamburger for a
in
year.
a closet for 20 years. People did it.
Yeah, it never would.
No, it doesn't mold. It doesn't
or
anything.
get
That's
hard.
scary.
Anyway.
And McDonald's, you don't even know what kind of meat you're eating. I'm just going to say
It's
that.
a different story.
What kind of meat? I don't know. That's a rabbit hole.
That's another
go
rabbit
down that
hole,
one.
Stacy.
Go down
Anyway.
that one. So anyway.
The simple ingredient foods are the best.
But to me, sourdough's an easy way to start making your own food. We, mamas, daddies, people.
Yeah.
We have to start making our own food.
Stacy,
from scratch.
I have a question. What if somebody wanted one of your sourdough loaves, but they're like, I'm not going to go buy a cast iron pan. What if they just wanted to buy one? Do you sell them?
No, I don't.
She
I don't
gives
really.
them away, but
I
would
have
you sell
given
one?
some away, but I don't know that I'm up for the challenge of having a little home bakery too. I got a lot going on, so I will teach you how. Dr. Hayden and I are going to teach a sourdough class. We did one a year ago in March, and it was super fun. Had some friends over, taught them, and they're all going like gangbusters, so that's so fun. But we'll start offering some classes so we can teach you. Teach a man to fish.
Yeah,
I don't want to just keep handing you fish.
So if you want more information about sourdough starters or the things, how much is the starter? How much is the recipe book?
The starters are $12. The guide with all the recipes and stuff in it is $15. Or you can get them together for $20.
Say $5 and get them together. Anyway, our number's on the screen.
Yeah, just holler.
For that if you
I'll
want,
get you one.
for sure.
Yeah, it's great.
It's awesome.
But start making your own food. We can do it.
It matters.
Start baking. Start doing so. Also, if we are made in His image, and He's a creator, we're supposed to be creating things.
Yeah. That's right.
So you love woodworking. Mm-hmm. You love making knives.
Leather stuff.
You get leather stuff. You get in the yard a lot.
You
love making a better golf game for yourself.
I am making a better golf game for myself.
You are practicing a lot, but you're creating.
We have the hand open coming up this summer.
The hand open, yes.
Who I won the first round.
You did. You punched the boys in the throat.
And so they're going to be so mad that they're going to say that's dramatic.
That is dramatic. Every year on vacation, we've decided that we're going to have the hand open. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be a winner, and we're going to have merch. They're going to win. It may not be a big green jacket, but we're going to have merch. We don't even know what, or a patch for their bag or something.
Yeah,
so,
I have a feeling I have a target on my back this year.
You and Shane, you and Kyle and Hunter. Yeah, so it's fun. They get to play 2 to 5 rounds and over our vacation week and figure it out. So
it's fun. It'll be fun.
Yes.
We're excited.
Start making your own food. As a reminder, get outside for healing.
Yeah, for sure.
This week is going to be way prettier. Yesterday we had a crazy snowstorm come in, kind of blizzard, whiteoutish on my drive yesterday back.
Yeah.
And but we're going to get outside. So this week for group,
we're going to try to meet at the park. What's the address of the park? Where's it at, babe?
It's Stephen F. Austin Park. It's over behind the Chick-fil-A on Georgia. So when you just take that turn right there, I don't have the
Is it the Westminster Church?
Westminster Church. We're kind of on their little...
Beside them.
Yes, we are beside them. So
we're beside the Westminster.
Where the playground is at Stephen F. Austin Park. we're there.
6:30 Wednesday. We probably start at 6:45.
Yes, but with the time change,
Bring your chair, bring your blanket, bring your coat. It'll probably be a little chilly
we don't
as the
care.
sun
We're
goes
getting out
down.
there. If I could start a fire in the park, I would.
But the playground is right there, so we bring the kids, and you can actually sit on we call it the grassy knoll.
Yes.
You can sit on the grassy knoll and watch your
the
kids while we hear a word from the Lord.
Yep.
And so I believe, that's perfect.
It's gonna be great. We love to get outside.
So as soon as it warms up for the real, we'll be out there every week. So the time change was the hinge pin.
Yep, this morning.
So we just need a little more
So
heat.
good.
So
Yep. So Shane, what topic did you pick for today?
well, biblical parenting, and so this Staci has always caused our kids to. I don't know how she does it. To do the right thing is the right word, and I want you to hear from her on some of her strategies, and it's really, really good. So, what do you want to start with, Stace?
So I got to put my readers on. I have perfect vision except for this little reader situation.
Yeah.
I'm believing it's going to be healed.
Yes.
So Shane found some really good biblical principles, biblical parenting tips, and then I put some stories in. So there's a lot of verses and things that are really good. So good job on that.
Yes.
So everybody knows Proverbs 22:6, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. So just know they always return.
That's right.
Love them no matter what it looks like. I want to recommend 2 books for people, and these aren't parenting books, but there's 2 books. The book Let Them is really, really good.
Mel Robbins.
Yes, it's out and about right now, and it's really good. And another book that really helped us through sometimes, not even parenting, just life stuff, is called Loving What Is.
Yeah.
And so things are going to happen, and we can either fight those things, be mad at those things. We don't know God's plan. Okay, we don't know we know that his plan is good for us.
Yeah.
But we don't know down the road that if our kids didn't go through all these things, that it wouldn't look like that at the end.
He works all things out together for good.
He does. So we need to, as parents, breathe a little bit.
It's not the end of the world.
Back off
most
a
of the
little
time.
bit.
Yeah.
Breathe, and know that he has a plan. So we have to kind of let go and quit freaking out.
That's good, baby.
I don't even know what order to go in, but
Well, let's just start off with this is one of the things that I remember when Hayden was a little girl, and like it was cold, and she said, "I'm not wearing my coat today," and Staci said, "Okay, great. You can either wear it or carry it. Your choice." And she said, "I'll carry it." And sure
so
enough,
our kids,
that
because
little-
I worked, I taught school. They were at daycare. And we were at Marion Rogers forever, and the kids loved it, and they loved our kids. It was great. But Hayden is very hot-natured, like you.
Yeah.
Hunter is not. He's more cold and normal. I mean, than Hunter and I. So we are very like cold. Like we like a lot of blankets on us when we sleep. These guys are like, wait, did you touch me? What do you need?
Yeah.
What? And so it was just very different. So I knew wrangling that sweet little girl into a full bodysuit because it's snowing outside.
That's true.
Snowsuit just to get to daycare was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so starting young, letting them decide, like, yes, we're going to need it. She's going to want to go outside and play in the sand and on their playground at, recess or whatever they did. They're going to go play outside a lot, even though it's freezing cold. So she had to make a choice. I have to get it there or I can't go outside.
Right.
So instead it's like, throw it in the car and you've got it. But Hunter, of course, he's bundling up. He's got a hat on. He's got a hoodie on. He's got all the things because he's cold. So I could have, it's sort of like kids running around without shoes on, which we're fans of. But you're going somewhere, they need shoes on, but you're running to the car to get to the car, and then you're going to grandma's and you're going all these places they don't need shoes yet. Do we have to strap them up in little hiking boots and have them ready and pitching a fit because it's shoes? No, we don't. Throw them in the car, throw the flip-flop, sandals, chacos, whatever in the car because you're going to need them later. But We don't have to argue about that right now.
Well, what was so powerful is like, because Hayden had a choice, like, well, I don't want to wear it, but I'll carry it. Then, sure enough, when we picked her up, she had it on because it was freezing outside.
Yes.
But
Yep.
Instead of like, oh my gosh, you have to do this. Hey, here's 2 choices.
Yep.
So talk more about the choices,
So
because that was a huge
in
thing.
the choices too, I remember being with other people, families we loved, whatever, and we would sit, like, have an adult table at a restaurant and a kid table. I'm not talking tiny kids, but kids, right? Kid
Teenagers.
table, up to teen, and the waitress would come by and say, "What do you want to drink?" Whatever, and then, "What do you want to eat?" And the parents would order for their children, too, because they know what they like, right? I get it. No harm, no foul. They would come to us and they would be like, "What do your kids want to eat?" And Shane looks at me because he knows where I'm going. And I'm like, "Oh, I have no idea. Do they have a kid They do have menus. I don't know. They'll let you know." And they're like, "Huh?" My kids know what they want to eat. Ask them. Start teaching your kids. Make decisions. Yes, start making decisions.
Yeah.
So when they grow up and you haven't controlled everything in their lives,
boom,
they can make decisions, and they don't have to panic order at restaurants. They don't have to freeze because they don't know what to do, because they're afraid they're going to get in trouble if they do one, or in trouble if they're going to do another. So I was really a big fan of that. Later, also, as our kids got older, they learned to listen to Holy Spirit. Yeah. So when you're pulling out from church, you're pulling out from the house, you're pulling out from whatever, and you like to work every day, we can go 45th and regular streets to work, or we can go Santi and go hit highway, right? Yeah. And so you can ask your kids, "Hey, what do you think? Should we go right or left today?"
What's the Holy Spirit telling you?
Because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's 15 minutes both ways.
Maybe it does matter. Maybe the Lord prevented you from having a big wreck by going the way you told him.
Or something, yes.
He told you to go.
Yes. So we just started asking our kids, "Hey, what do you think? What should we do? What restaurant do you want to go to? What did the Lord tell you on that?" You've also got to let your kids fail in a very safe way.
Yeah.
At home. With you. So if they forget, I was not great at this. If they forget their homework, if they forget something, you got to kind of let them sometimes, and let them fail, and let them talk to the teacher and say, "Oh, I messed up. I'm an adult." We also were very, very good about apologizing to our children. If we messed up, we made a mistake, we were quick to say, "Hey, I made a mistake. I apologize.
Yes.
And so this is what I'm going to do to fix it." And that way your kids are also quick to apologize. There's so many adults that don't know how to apologize. We're just going to act like nothing happened. We're just going to go on our way. And meanwhile, we just injured the snot out of somebody.
It's true.
And we're just going to let them walk around wounded. We're not going to try to fix that. So we're really pretty quick to fix any time we've done that. And this is controversial.
Let them have it, Staci.
We didn't have a curfew. We did not have a curfew for our kids. We let them let us know what was going on.
Yeah, and they were. See, the thing is with this deal is Mama Hen knew I don't know things that she knows. Like she talked to them like not only their mother, but their friend, and there's a fine line between that, but they trusted you. They would tell you everything. I think if I would have pried, they probably would have, but they...
Well, I was very safe.
There was a safe place. And so there was no, "Oh yeah, we're going to so-and-so's house," and then they went to somewhere else. They never...
Right. And so, we didn't have curfews. If you're communicating with us, of course they have their locations on their phone. A lot of families do Life 360 or whatever, so you know where they are. I was never like, "Why are you driving by?" I didn't do that. But if our kids tell us they're going to the movies with a group of kids, great. And we're eating dinner, and I'm like, "Oh, are they done with their movie?" So I go look at their location, and they were never at the movie. That's one thing you have to address. But if they tell you when and where they're going to be and they're there, then you trust them. You've got to build that. There's open, honest, and responsible conversations.
Yeah, that's good.
all the time. And so if you're having that with your kiddos and they trust that they can tell you things and you're not going to blow up, freak out, whatever, then it goes a lot smoother. But I remember one time in high school, Hunter he had just started driving. He was probably a junior.
Yeah.
And he had a baseball game the next weekend, like in Lubbock. So he had to be on the bus at like 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And so he texted me, and he was with a group of kids, and they were watching movies, and we knew the family they were at and all the things. And he texted and said, hey, we just finished a movie.
Yeah.
Would you mind if I stayed and watched another one? And it's already probably like 11:30. And I just said, hey, that's great. Enjoy. Tell so-and-so's parents I said hi. He's like, okay, great. And then I said, oh, shoot. Don't forget, you got to be on the bus in the morning at 8 o'clock, to head to Lubbock. Well, he knew he was pitching the next morning. He knew that they were leaving at 8, and he knew he's not a morning guy.
Yeah.
That was already going to be a stretch.
Yeah.
So I let him. About 15 minutes later, that kid walks in the front door.
Yes, he did.
And I'm like, what are you doing, bud? And he's like, Mom, that would have been the dumbest thing I could have ever done.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a morning guy. It's already going to suck. I came home. I need to pack my bag, have my uniform, have everything out ready. So that would have been extremely silly. And I'm
really
like, hey,
good.
what do you need help with? So we get it packed. So I had a choice as a parent to, when the kid texts me at 11 and says, hey, I think we're going to start another movie, knowing what I know in my head, right? I know what he has going on the next morning.
We know what he should have done.
I know.
But we didn't.
Should's a cuss word.
We didn't press it.
So I could have said, I could have been that parent that's like, what are you thinking? You need to be home. I can't believe you're not already home. You've got things to do. You've got to do this, 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 and this. And that's irresponsible of you. I could have berated him.
It wouldn't have done any good, honestly.
No, and we wouldn't have the relationship we have today.
Yeah.
So by letting that kid make that decision,
you let him.
Yes, we have to let him make decisions, and it wasn't anything that was going to hurt him. Like, he wasn't going to have a car wreck. He wasn't going to, he's not out drinking. He's not being stupid. But it was harmless. But I had to be willing to let that kid fail.
Yep.
In order to watch him succeed.
It's true. It's really good.
Yes. Holy Spirit's a big thing, though. You got to teach them to make their own decisions. Anything else on the decision thing you can think of?
We just encouraged them to make choices, and then we would talk them through the choices. Like, okay, now let's think about, if you're going to make this decision, this goes with that decision, this goes with that decision.
What are the consequences?
The consequences.
Play it out.
What are the pros and cons, if you will?
Because kids don't think about the consequences.
And they're like, oh, I can't tell you how many times, even today.
Yep.
Like Hunter or Hayden will say, well, I didn't think about that. That's a good perspective. And so, look at both sides of the coin.
Yes.
And then you decide, I'll back you, but you decide, but make a good decision.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was really good.
We have never to our children once said, I told you so.
No.
Ever.
No.
So
for sure.
if they do fail and they're like, oh, that didn't work out. That didn't work like I thought.
And it's happened plenty of times.
It's happened.
For sure.
It's happened to adults. It's happened to us.
Right.
And so we get to look at them and say, okay, well, that sucked. And let's figure it out then.
Yeah.
Let's get a plan of action to clean up that mess and start fresh.
Yeah.
That's
really good.
Let's do that. So that's been a biggie.
What other pro tips, Staci?
Pro tips. Oh, let's see. Proverbs 13:24. Whoever spares the rod hates their children, but the one who loves their children is careful to disciple them. So I think you guys think that we're probably going to talk about spanking, which we're not. Because when he's talking about the rod here, he's talking about sheep, and the rod was used to guide them, to push them and guide them the way
That's really good.
they were supposed to go. It was really not used to beat the sheep
Yeah.
to go where you want them to go. It was not. So
Yeah. And sometimes that's a discipline. Like the sheep wants to go this way and you're like, no, I see the danger over there, and you're
yes,
pulling them back.
The guardrail's out ahead.
Yeah.
I'm seeing this.
Yeah. And
I am standing this time. There are some times with the choices thing that if it's going to harm them or harm someone else, you do need, or you see them going down a path of destruction.
We pop up with that. Yeah.
You got to pop up and say, hey, hold up. It's a construction zone, right? Guardrail out ahead. I see the consequences that you don't see up here. And I'm here to tell you, this is what's going to happen. This, and this. You still get to make that choice. And I'm going to stand. I will be here when you come back.
Yeah. And
it's rough. And I will love you. But you have to deal with the consequences of making that decision, knowing that these are the consequences.
You know, the key thing there is that the discipline is with love and consistency.
Yes.
You know, we tried to keep the rules the same, so to speak. We didn't do this one time and then went the other way the next time. We tried to be as consistent as we could, which I think makes a lot of difference.
Absolutely. Model a godly life. In my opinion, 99% of what your kids learn
is from watching you. And
1% is what they heard you say.
Yeah.
1 Corinthians 11:1 says, follow my example as I follow the example of Christ. So we in our home can't treat each other terribly and expect them to go treat friends and
future
boyfriend,
spouse.
girlfriends properly in the way that Christ would want them to.
Yeah.
You can't do it.
It's good.
And you can't model, like, if you want your kids to get along with each other, you can't be at odds and be ugly to each other. Love unconditionally and show grace.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no conditions. Like the condition would be if you do this, then you get this. And
if you look and act like I want you to, I'm going to buy you a new car. If you do this, I'm going to do this.
Unconditional love.
Yeah, kids, they don't respond to that because then they grow up to be conditional adults.
Yeah, yeah.
And they expect something for everything they do. God's not that way with us. We shouldn't be that way with him. Like, golly, I've done this. Lord, I've done my quiet time,
I've done all these things.
I've done all these things. Tithed. I have done all the things that I want to do for you, Lord. So then you'll do these and these and these things for me.
Yeah.
That's not how he works.
It's good.
That's not how he works. He has done it all.
Look at Colossians 3:21. It says, Colossians 3:21, fathers, do not embitter your children or they will become discouraged.
Yeah.
Like, don't do that.
Don't poke them.
And then Luke 15:20 is talking about the parable of the prodigal son. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son, threw his arms around him, and kissed him. And so he was so grateful that his son came back.
Yep.
And so
they always return.
Are we grateful when they return after they've messed up, or are we like, oh, I told you so? And so that's something that we tried not to do for sure.
Yep.
Isn't that good?
Amen. Pray for and with your children.
Yes.
So James 5:16, the prayers of a righteous person is powerful and effective.
Yes.
I'm telling y'all, there is power in praying parents, praying grandmas. There is a huge power. My grandma went to heaven last year at 106 years old.
Yes.
And I guarantee you she prayed for all of us grandchildren every day.
It was interesting because they kind of, where she was at, they were asking her, what are some of the tips to get to 106? And she started off with read the Bible, pray every day. I remember that.
Eat chocolate.
Yeah, eat chocolate every day.
It was really cute. I've got to go get that list. Yeah, It was really, really good. But one day we were praying for a grandma at church who was just feeling like she was praying and praying and praying for these prodigals and they were not returning. And she was very, very frustrated. And the Lord, he speaks to me in pictures.
Yeah.
So I get a picture of something in my mind. Other people get words, but I always get a picture for that person.
Yeah.
And the Lord showed me a tsunami. And what we know about a tsunami is a 3-inch, so literally 3 inches, a 3-inch shift in the plate of the earth.
Yep, that's right.
3 inches causes 100, 200 foot waves.
Yeah, tsunami. Yeah,
A tsunami that overtakes and destroys
a lot of things.
and literally can just wipe everything out. But the Lord showed me in that instance that sweet grandma's prayers were like a tsunami, in that that little bitty shift was happening in what she was praying into, but that little shift was happening, and that wave of her prayers was going over her family, her friends, her grandchildren, all of the things that she was praying over.
Yeah.
So don't discount what we can't. We in the physical can only see little bitty bits of what's going on. So don't discount all of the things that are happening in the spiritual.
Yeah, that's good.
Don't do it.
That's really good.
Don't do it. Speak life.
Speak life
over your children.
Yes.
So,
yeah, that's a good talk.
Proverbs
about that.
18:21.
Yes.
The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit.
Those who love it will eat its fruit. It's not on here on our little sheet, but Deuteronomy 28:22 also says, "Decree a thing and it will be established." And so what do we used to tell our kids? Like, this is a good one, Staci, right here.
Go. What did we tell them?
Shut your lips.
Oh, we did. We never said shut up. We never said shut up to our kids.
We didn't say shut up. We said shut your lips.
But we said shut your lips. So the enemy can
And we
hear.
taught them, though. We taught them, what does that mean to shut your lips?
Oh, yeah. The enemy can hear everything out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Just so you know, he uses it against you.
Yeah, that's right.
He uses everything you say as a weapon against you. That's how a lot of times he has a legal right to come in and block you from healing and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Because you have said things out of your mouth. You've got to be very, very careful what comes out of your mouth.
You really want that thing to come to pass. Yeah.
Yeah, he hears everything. So, Ephesians 4:29, do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouth, but only what is helpful in building others up, and according to their needs, it may benefit those who listen.
That's good.
So where it said helpful for building others up, it's also helpful for building you up.
Yep, that's
yourself.
Right. That's exactly right.
We are the worst on ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Negative self-talk.
Oh my gosh. And he knows that. Because how many people go, oh, I'm so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. Don't say that.
How many people come into our office and say, oh, this weather's killing me. Oh, my low back's killing me.
Yeah.
All of those things. And we're quick to say, no, it's not. No, it's not. Do you remember that obituary?
Yes. Yes.
So there was an older gentleman, late 80s, who had died. And his family in the obituary said...
He always said... This West Texas wind will be the death of me.
He always said it.
And sure enough, he was walking to the mailbox. One of these crazy...
windy days
50,
like Monday,
70
Tuesday,
mile
Wednesday
an hour
this week.
Gust. Knocked him over, hit his head on the concrete, killed him.
Literally.
And so he always said...
we
could go there.
And that was one of the things that was a long time ago, probably 15, 20 years ago. Yeah. But it always helps me to go, what am I saying?
What am I saying?
And the fun thing about
Speak
teaching...
live.
Yes. The fun thing about teaching your kids the shut your lips theory is that... First of all, the enemy can't hear you and what you're saying. So sometimes things don't need to be said.
Yeah.
Sometimes he doesn't need to know your plan. He doesn't keep your mouth shut. People don't need to know because people are they're haters. And they're going to tell you, no, don't do that. Don't do that. But so we would tell our kids, like, shut your lips. And the older they got, they would say to us, shut your lips.
Shut your lips.
And you're like, what did you catch? What did I say?
Yeah.
And they'll tell you, like, well, you just said that stupid phone is not working. That stupid...
Like I did last week.
that stupid phone after that stupid update.
I lost my camera.
He doesn't have a camera on his phone anymore or a flashlight. And so, but when you're speaking death over something, but you're expecting it to work for you, You know, that stupid friend of mine, that stupid, I couldn't believe
Don't
that
call 'em-
stupid. No. So,
Don't call them stupid. Bless them. Don't
bless
curse
them.
them.
That blessed friend of mine. So anyway, the kids they now will bust us with this stuff, which is great.
Yeah.
But teach your kids, shut your lips, which means you don't really know what you just said. Start over. You didn't mean it. You know, hey, can I have a redo, a do-over? Shut your lips. Rephrase that, because the enemy just heard that. I think that's very, very.
That's really good. The next verse there, 1 Thessalonians 5:11. Therefore, encourage one another and build each other up, just as in fact you are doing. I love it.
So, it's important for us to build each other up.
Yes.
It's important for our children to build each other up, even though it's hard.
Yes.
I was talking to a friend about this week. It just came up because her kiddos were arguing. And so much so that one threw the other one off the bed and hit something and had hurt their back. And so Shane was helping them. And it just reminded me of, because our perfect children never did that.
Mercy. Knocked down, dragged
They are
out.
best friends now. And with Hunter
Yeah.
living in San Antonio and Hayden here, they desperately miss each other.
Yeah.
But back in the day, they would get heated. So I remember one time in high school, the kids were leaving to go to school. And they were going to be late,
Yep.
which is more of a trait of the cold-natured kid crowd, me and Hunter. And not forever late, just 2, 3, 5 minutes late. But Hayden does not like to be late,
Yeah.
like the hot-natured crowd. And so they were going to be on the verge of late.
Yeah.
She was beside herself, upset. Mother, I cannot believe him. We can't find his keys, his wallet, his phone. This is ridiculous. We're going to be late. I pull her over. And I told her, I said, here's the deal. Yes, he needs to be more organized. Yes, things need to be, ready to go. But the Lord is going to give you a beautiful man, a big, beautiful man who sometimes misplaces his keys, his wallet, and his phone.
Yeah.
And you are his helpmate. And you're supposed to be like, yeah, okay, so let's find him so we can get out of here. And I said, you
good.
get to practice on your brother who can annoy you.
Yeah.
But you get to practice on him. And I know you're going to meet the love of your life.
So good.
And he's going to be gorgeous and wonderful. But something's going to annoy you.
Happened just like that, didn't it?
Something's going to happen. And he's going to forget his keys, his phone, his wallet. So the next day, she's just like, whatever. Like, I can't believe it. Whatever. And I'm telling you, she is like 14 years old, probably a freshman.
Probably
and
a
is
freshman.
just disgusted by her brother.
Yeah.
Who was scattery. I get it. So the next day, we're leaving to go somewhere. Shane, in usual fashion, and by the usual fashion, I mean, he always says this: if he can't find his keys, his wallet, his phone, or whatever he's looking for, he says, I know it's exactly where I left it.
It's right where I put it.
I know it's right where I put
forgot
it.
where I put it.
But can you help me find my keys? Have you seen my phone? Now, that was back in the day. Now you come in and you put it in the exact same spot.
Oh, yeah.
Every single day, which he did not then. And so he says that. And I do this to her. I just look at her quietly. And she's like, oh, I get it. So we help find so we can get out the door faster.
Yeah, it's good.
So right after Hayden and Kel got married, I remember we wheeled into church and we're, walking around the corner to get into our seats. And I get a text from her like,
We're a few minutes
late. We'll be there in just a few minutes. We're looking for the keys. And she sent a little laughy emoji because she knew that I knew that we knew that her husband is perfect and wonderful. And he is so perfect for her. Way more perfect than we ever could have prayed for. Pray for your kids.
Pray for your kids.
And
for
their spouses. We
Yeah.
did that from birth. And let me tell you,
Yeah.
the Lord fulfilled everything for her that we could have ever imagined, but 100 times more. And
That's so good.
that boy, oh my gosh. So anyway, teach your kids that how they steward their behavior, their responses,
Yeah.
is how they're good. That's learned. and that's how they're going to treat their spouse later. And it's so true.
It's really good.
So I'm like, if you're going to treat your spouse hateful, you know, I guess keep doing what you're doing, but I don't think that's what you're going to want to do, because that girl's going to be a pretty girl. That boy is going to be gorgeous, and you're not going to want to treat them bad.
That's really good, Staci. I appreciate like Mama Hand, all the things Mama Hand for sure. So that's really good. Is there anything else you want to touch
Let me
on
look.
this?
The Psalm 78:4 says, "We will not hide them from their descendants. We will tell the next generation the praiseworthy deeds of the Lord, His power and His wonders He has done." We tell our kids all the time, like, our life is a testimony.
Yeah.
For good or bad it is. The Lord can use it.
The mistakes have been a testimony too,
The mistakes, the way we grew up, just the things are a testimony. So what we have fought for to build,
yes,
our ceiling, which is still moving up.
Our ceiling's
always.
still moving up, but that's where they start.
That is where our kids started. That is their floor. And that's where they started. And so that to us was important to know that we were building a foundation way above our heads.
Yeah.
For our children.
That's where they begin
To start. Yes.
Yeah. Practically, we see that with Hayden in our chiropractic practice. Woo. Like we built a practice. I'll never forget when you were having the conversation with Hayden about coming back to Amarillo, and it's like, you don't have to come back to Amarillo.
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
Like, yeah, so like you don't have to come back to Amarillo. Like you may meet
Little reverse
someone, and
psychology.
you may want to move and to live in Dallas, whatever. And she said, well, I'll think about it. It wasn't very long after that.
Patients were very like, oh my gosh, are you coming back? I'm like, no. The Lord will tell her where to go.
But she had the option to come back, and
That's
so
good.
she decided she wanted to come back to Amarillo, which was so cool.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you,
for
Kyle,
living in Amarillo.
doing that anyway. And so this is an example of our ceiling being her floor. As a brand new chiropractor, she already had an office that was paid for. She already had an x-ray machine. She already had an assistant.
Fully staffed.
She already had
running.
software. She had equipment. She had everything she needed. She was able just to plug and play, so to speak.
She didn't have to go through the pain of everything
like
we went
did.
through.
We had to start from scratch.
Beans and rice.
And we had to do keep our overhead as low as we could, just so we could make it. And she didn't have to do that. So our ceiling, this example is a great example. Our ceiling, what we built over 25 years, she just got to step right into. And, what a blessing it is to do that for your children. And that's a physical example, but spiritually too. Like everything that we've learned, everything that the Lord has shown us, like we impart that to our children, and they don't have to start where we started. We didn't know anything about the Lord when we were married, and so they just start they get to start where our high point is, which is still growing, by the way.
Amen.
So that's really good, Staci.
Raise them to be kingdom-minded and trust in the Lord.
Yes.
Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all of your ways submit to Him, and He will make your path straight.
I love it.
And this is a great story, but we took our kids to Africa. We went on a mission trip to Africa, and we each worked with a group of orphans. You had like
13. We had like 13.
I had 13 boys. Hunter had 13 boys. And we had Zambian leaders with us. And Hayden she was with a group of girls. And it was wonderful. It was the sweetest week. Getting back on that plane to leave was one of the hardest things I've ever done.
Yep.
So I get back on the plane, and the kids are sitting on both sides of me.
Yep.
And Shane's just across the aisle. And so the kids are beside me, and I am weeping. Yep. Well, I weeped all week. It was Holy Spirit, but we landed, and I was weeping. That ground felt holy. It was so sweet. Mm-hmm. But, so the kids are on both sides of me, and I'm just weeping, and I'm lamenting. That's the word. I was lamenting. Yeah. I was grieving, leaving those boys. I was leaving those boys. And I was like, Lord, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. And I literally, it was like, I have my eyes closed, but it was literally like I could hear the Lord stand in front of me and tell me, sweet girl, Sweet, sweet girl. I had these kids before you got here. They were mine. Thank you for coming. Thanks for a great week of their lives. But I've got them. I love them way more than you do.
Yeah.
And I've got them. And I'm like, oh, and so I start getting some peace on me. And then I hear this, and by the way, that goes for the two right next to you that look just like you.
Yeah.
They're not yours either. They're mine, and I've got them.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that's so good.
oh, Lord. He throat punched me at that time.
It was
and
a good
so
one, though.
at that point, I had so much peace come over me. And that continued, even to today. Like, I know even if the kids are far away or we don't get to talk or there's no cell service or whatever's going on, that he's got them and he loves them way more than I do.
Yes.
Which is hard to believe, mamas and daddies.
Yeah.
But he does. So he's in control. And I don't have to be in control. And that made those teenage years easier.
It made it a lot easier.
It made it a lot easier, them knowing what they were doing. Exodus 20:12. Honor your father and your mother so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God is giving you.
It's good.
So we've always loved that verse, but recently we've kind of dug into that, and it doesn't really apply to adult children. Yes, we honor and you're kind and whatever to your parents, but once they have their own family,
they've already done.
We are no longer their parents.
Leave, cleaved, and weave.
They done did leave, cleave, and weave. They're married. They are not our children anymore.
Yeah.
So this season for us, everybody asks me what season of parenting I love. I love whatever season we're in.
It's all good. It's been good.
But my goodness, our grandparenting era will be
hopefully coming soon.
It'll be the best ever. But adult kids are so stinking fun.
Yeah.
We are enjoying this so much.
Yeah.
The fun thing to us is we're no longer parenting.
We're not really parenting anymore.
No. Before they're married, but after they're adults, there's a gap where we're just their advisory board.
We're the advisory board.
We're just their team.
Yeah.
They can call us. They can say, hey, I got this going on. What are your thoughts? And we can tell them our thoughts.
Yes.
Like, hey, let's talk about it. Let's talk through it. What do you think? We don't have to give our, I think you should do that. Or I think you should do, should is a bad word.
No.
It's a bad word.
Yeah, it's a cuss word, Staci.
Should in our house that's the word, and the F word is fair. Because God is not just. Fair. He is just, but he's not fair. So the F word in our house is fair. So we have really enjoyed being our kids' advisory board. And their team. Also, once they get married, leave, cleave, and weave.
Yeah.
They're no longer our children. And that is, I know that's a hot take. I don't get to tell them what to do.
Yeah.
I don't get, as a parent, to tell them what they should and shouldn't do, how to treat each other, how to treat their siblings. I don't get to say, hey, Dad, you should have been nice to Hunter.
Yeah.
Hunter, I can't believe you. No, they have their own adult relationships.
Yeah.
They have their own family and they have their own choices.
And they get to make their own decisions about all the things they do.
All of them. And it's so exciting. And we get to respect those choices.
Yes.
We've told our kids, when you have kids, you're going to parent completely different than we did. And they're both like, no, y'all did a pretty good job. I don't think we... And I'm like, no, listen. We had Hunter, and I think it was like they have to sleep on their back. Or they could get SIDS and die. And then with Hayden, 2 years later, oh no, they have to be on their stomach.
Yeah.
Or it's bad. And you're like, wait,
which
what?
one is it? Yeah.
So I've told them, you're going to decide things and we are going to respect it.
Yeah.
Whatever y'all want to happen will happen. Let's talk vacation and holidays.
Okay.
Real quick. When it comes to holidays with our kids, we tell them this is what we're going to do. And of course you guys are invited. Same with vacations.
Yeah, we don't expect them to come with us.
No.
We want them to.
Because they want to win the hand open.
You gotta show up.
You gotta show up to
win the hand open.
Beat the daddy.
But we don't. They don't have to come.
No, we're like, hey, this is where we're going next summer. These are the dates we're going. Check your calendars. If you want to join us, it's on us. Come play.
But here's the thing: we've set up such a relationship with our kids that they want to be with us.
This is true.
Like we're not
This
we're
is
not
true.
parenting them like you said.
Right.
We're just advising them, trying to give them wise counsel and advice, and they us.
Yeah.
And so
It's true.
not, we don't have to twist their arm to go.
No.
Yeah.
But also talk about what happens when we go out to eat with our boys.
I don't know.
When the ticket comes.
Oh, well, of course I'm going to try to pay for it every time, but sometimes I don't get...
Kyle started this mess when
Yeah.
they started dating. And so it's funny, and now Hunter jumps in, but it's who's going to pay for the ticket at the end of dinner. So get you some kids.
Yeah.
Get you some adult children working, providing. One thing I'm
Successful.
super thankful for our boys. And I say Kyle, especially Kyle because he's married to our daughter, so we get to see that in action.
Yeah.
But we get to see Hunter with his sweet girlfriend too. But being a provider and a protector.
A provider and a protector.
Provider and a protector.
100%.
I'm telling you, no one would get within, as if they would come because of the way Hayden is.
Yeah.
as if they would
still.
come within 5 feet of her. But still, to know that that boy would protect her at all costs and provide for her.
100% convinced.
That has been, yes. And Hunter's the same way. So it's super sweet to watch. But holidays, vacations, they get to come. We're like, come on, join us.
We want them to come.
It's so fun having adult children.
It really is.
Oh my gosh, every season's fun. So, can you think of anything else, sir?
Stacy, that's pretty good.
That was a lot. Sorry, y'all. That was a lot.
There's a lot going on. And we could probably keep talking about it, but I think that a lot of people come and ask you questions about parenting, and so I really appreciate you and how you just like follow the Lord with your parenting skills. That's made a huge difference in our kids, and
Thank
good
you.
job, baby.
No, it's good. You just kind of have to listen to, not kind of. You have to listen to the Lord.
Yeah. So that's
And don't
good.
be afraid to talk about anything. If they know you're a safe place and that you're not going to flip out, even though things are hard sometimes, your kid may come to you and say, hey, I screwed up. This is what I did.
Yeah.
And you want to lose your ever-loving mind.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, breathe.
Breathe.
Hey, hold up. I'm going to go fill my drink and then we'll talk about it. Like,
Yeah.
breathe and talk them through some things. Help them because they're going to make mistakes. So if you're not helping them, who is?
Yeah, it's really good, babe.
If you're not helping them, who is? So
It's been rich today. Thank you for all those pro tips, the Stacy tips.
it was good.
So, what do you want? Are we ready to close? You want to pray, Stacy? Wow. Let's end our show and let's pray. And
We love you. We believe in you, and
Yes.
People need to hear your story.
Yes, they do. And so, Father, we just thank you for another great day, and I thank you, Lord, for this mama hand right here that helps so many people. I thank you for our children, and I thank you for every person listening right now or that will listen in the future. I pray that these biblical standards will be some that they use for their children. I pray that that families will get tighter together as a result of this podcast. They won't grow apart, but they'll grow closer together.
Amen.
And so, Father, we're just so thankful for you sending Jesus to pay for our sin and to make a way for us to be healed, not just in our physical body, but also spirit and soul. And so I pray for everyone listening, may you and your family, may you prosper in all things and remain in health, even as your souls prosper in Jesus' name. So we're so grateful for you guys. Thank y'all for listening, and we'll see you again next week.
Love,
Thank you.
love, love.
Love you. Bye-bye.